Good morning, Cavalier Nation. Welcome to Quirky Cavaliers, a podcast where we talk about the quirky, the cool, and the unique talents of those around us.
Today's topic is remote control cars. The first remote control car was produced in the 1940s. They did not have rechargeable batteries, but instead they utilized nitromethane powered engines, and they were not commercially available until the 1960s with the release of the LG, an Italian car model. It was shown to the public in Milan in 1986. Today we have our guest, Steele, who is knowledgeable about the subject.
Oh, hello.
What's up,
Hi.
Steele?
I'm Steele. I like RC cars. I do a lot with RC cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess for my background, I know some people around school have seen my smaller RC cars because I've brought them to school before. But I've
All
played
right,
around.
nice.
Yeah, I've played around with basically every possible variation. Though I haven't played around with stuff like one one uh one half scale, which is like they're like basically real cars at that point. um
Okay.
Okay.
I don't personally own a nitro car, but I've played with nitro cars and I've played with gasoline powered cars. I mean, they're pretty cool, but they're super high on maintenance.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah. For me, mainly, I stick to 110 scale and 118 scale. Um, like that's what I have the most fun with. That's what most people would be using. A lot of the people who have like 1/5 scales are like uber rich.
All right.
Right.
So we'll get into categories later, but like, what sparked like your interest in RC cars?
So the bane of everybody's existence. I was doom scrolling on YouTube Shorts, and I
Of
saw
course.
people running them through mud and stuff like that, and I was like, hey, that's fun. I want to do that myself. So I
Yeah.
did it.
All right. So,
Would
well,
have
for
saw that
those,
coming.
yeah, for those who are new to the hobby, can you explain what RC cars are and the differences between the types available?
Yeah, so RC cars, that's kind of implied with remote controlled cars.
Right.
Yeah.
Um what's available, you can have ones that are as small as like 1/16 scale. And then technically you can have full size cars that are RC cars, but they're not technically RC cars and you can't buy them. Um
You have to make them.
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Oh, you've never had one, so you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
never had one.
You're
Yeah,
gonna get
makes
there
sense.
eventually,
Makes
though.
sense.
Um there's a lot of scales. The most common ones are 1/18th and
Yeah.
1/10 scale. Um,
Okay.
1/10 scale is what I own the most in. Um, 1/18 scales are also really good, but it is a context of where you live and where availability to run them is going to be.
Yeah.
So,
So, when you say scale, is that just the size of it?
yeah,
I
scale is
Scale model to like an actual car, I assume.
yes and no. Certain ones are super like big on it. Like, I have one that's called a low C little monster truck because I have a low C monster truck.
Yeah.
Like those are like it's a Gravedigger, which is the monster truck.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that before.
Yeah, like that. Like that one is like 1/18th of the real
Like the
size
actual
monster
size.
truck.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So
it
it does
was kind
scale
of
down
right.
directly.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes it scales down directly. Sometimes it's just kind of generic. And it's just like
And
it's
it's
just
branding and whatnot.
yeah, it's branding a lot of times.
All right, all right.
The scalings can also be very inconsistent because I have a truck called a Red Cat Wendigo, and by all metrics, it should technically be like a 1/8 or a 1/6 scale, but it's technically a 1/10 scale. It just depends on what sells, basically.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Could you share one of your most memorable experiences with us? Like, if you don't mind me asking.
Um,
Good or bad, by the way.
No, just anything.
Most memorable. I got a couple. Uh, Probably one of the like funnier dumb moments I've had is on Christmas when I got my first one.
Okay.
I managed to um I managed to burn the motor out
Ooh.
First day.
first day.
First day.
Okay.
Wow.
That has what is known as a brush motor, and brush motors they don't last with me.
Oh, I imagine. I imagine.
Yeah.
Previous experience didn't go any better. I assume.
Yeah, other good memories I have, me and my family went out one day, while I was still pretty new in the hobby, and me, my dad, my brother, and then my dad's best friend, we all were just running them. It was just a fun time. We got lunch, just a fun day out.
Okay. All right. That sounds nice.
Yeah. Other funny ones I have, I went to Yellowstone in Luray over the summer,
Okay.
Oh, nice.
and that's where I bought what is currently my favorite RC car, which is my Losi Mini that I talked about earlier.
Hmm.
And we decided to bring ramps with us, and I shot it like 20 feet in the air,
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
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 and I didn't break anything, shockingly.
Oh, wow.
That's. I was about to say. Did you
Suspension on
break
that thing is
anything?
good, I guess.
Yeah.
Shock
Uh,
absorption and suspension goes
Right.
crazy, I guess.
yeah, it's like a $300 RC car,
Oh,
so
wow. Maybe you shouldn't be doing ramp jumps with the $300 RC car, but hey, you do you.
So, have you ever like raced like RC cars or like built any RC cars like that? Like just
um
as a whole.
I have not personally built an RC car yet.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
J-
planning to?
yeah, but money.
This
Right, right.
Christmas, hey, this Christmas coming up.
I'm probably gonna get a new one for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
I've never like raced them in a competition. I did like a tractor pull with my Wendigo, which I mentioned earlier, which I can go on a whole tirade about why that was unfair for me. Meaning like I cheated basically.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. So you rigged it
Um,
in your favor.
yeah, it was good in my favor.
Okay.
I got second place. I've never raced them like professionally, but like I've raced them with like my brother and my
friends and
dad.
whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, though I've watched a couple like actual competitive races. I have the problem of I don't have a truck that's like specifically built for short course. I have a short course truck, but it's not too fast. I need to get a brushless motor for it so I can actually race them.
All right. When you said tractor pull, is that like as the name suggests, like you're pulling a tractor with the RC car? Or is that something else?
So it's also called a sled pull.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the competition I was at called it a tractor pull. Basically what it is you have a like trailer that gets attached to your truck.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they attach it to the suspension because it's just one of the sturdiest points on the truck, and you can't
Right.
really
Right.
break anything there.
Yeah, it'd be pretty hard too.
Yeah. Um, so what happens is you're driving. You have to drive. I think it's 40 feet with RC cars. And as you go,
Mm-hmm.
there's a timer set on the sled. It'll slowly start moving more weight
Okay.
until it gets down to like 40 pounds of force or something like that.
All right.
Um, like the wheels on the sled lock up and stuff like that. So the basic idea is you want to get as far in as quick a time as possible
Okay.
With the weight added.
with the weight slowly adding.
I got you.
Um, the way I cheated
Oh,
was
Oh god.
basically like I don't know if I mentioned this. There's two different main categories of RC cars. You have crawlers and then you have bashers.
All right.
Bashers are generally a lot faster. Like my dad has a car that goes 130 miles per hour, and it can go faster, but it just doesn't have enough downward weight, so wind will just pick it up.
oh wow.
Yeah. So it's like just paper, right?
Yeah. Um, it's so like what happens what happened was my Wendigo, as I mentioned earlier, it's called a red cat Wendigo. It's something that's known as a rock racer. You have rock crawlers, which rock crawlers are what you use for rock crawlers are what you use for sled pulls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like the specifically designed RC car for rock pulls.
Yeah, they're specifically designed for like crawling on rocks and stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay, okay.
The Wendigo is known as something called a rock racer.
Rock race.
So it's
So it's kind of built for both, like a hybrid.
it's a hybrid.
I see.
It's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, basically.
Okay.
Right.
So it'll
So
never be like the best, but it could get the job done, you know?
yeah,
All rounder.
yeah, it's sort of all rounder. I love it to death. But basically, I was compared to a bunch of trucks that like their top speed was like 20 miles per hour, and that's like that's being generous basically. Mine goes 30 on the lowest level battery we have, which is a 2 cell.
Wow.
So we threw in a 3 cell and we hooked it up and we drove it, and it cleared it in like 3 seconds,
Oh
and
wow.
it cleared the entire thing.
And you said you got second place
I
on
got
this?
second place
Oh wow.
How'd you get beaten out by the first place?
because he had a Wendigo too. His was better built than
Oh
mine.
man.
He had better tires than I did.
So you're saying you both cheated?
Well, cheating implies we broke the rules.
Right. I don't think this
We-
is an
So,
actual
that was
cheating.
actually going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Were there any rules involved?
What are
in
the
said
rules
race?
exactly?
Yeah, the rules were stuff like you can't use bashers and stuff like that, but the Wendigo is kind of a gray area because
It's not, but it is.
yeah,
Right?
it's it's sort of like putting a like Ferrari engine in a Ford Ranger, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a truck, but it has a sports
has-
car
yeah.
engine. Yeah, like that's the best equivalent I
It
can
has
say.
power and speed,
Right.
so it's not cheating.
Yeah. So it's like it's a gray area. It's
Do you think they
not-
should like outlaw that, in the races? Or-
It definitely should have been, either put into a different category or something like that. But hey, I got second place. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not-
I wouldn't complain either if I was in your position.
I won free tires, so
Oh, nice.
Hey,
yeah.
You still use them?
No, they're still in the box. Actually, I don't have something to use them on.
well, hopefully you'll use
Oh,
them
wow.
eventually, in your RC Carney journey. Are there any? So you've talked about the community, right? You talked about these races that you've been to.
Yeah.
Have you been following along with the community? Do you follow along with the community?
Online, no. Because online there's a lot of snobby people that are just kind of irritating to talk to.
Oh, like
and,
gatekeepers and like petty
yeah.
people. I hate those types. Of people.
But when you go to like actual places, you'll meet a lot of like really nice, like either older guys or guys that are like just a little bit older than me. And it's generally very accepting. Everybody gets along,
Okay, so it's like the same as most communities, right? Where like most people are chill, and then there's like the snobby people and whatnot.
Yeah, it's just kind of par for the course with the hobby because you have the guys that can be like really annoying to talk to because it's like, well, actually, my car,
my car's faster.
my specs are this, which are technically better than yours, even though it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah,
You have those people,
like
but you also,
elitists, who have to be the best, who have to have
Yeah.
the best specs.
but you'll have the guys that'll like talk to you and be like, and they'll give you stuff, like they'll give you like expensive stuff, just being nice, and it's
Oh, nice.
So it
Yeah.
sounds
It's a
like a
pretty,
good community
it's a pretty
overall.
nice community
Yeah, that
overall.
Nice.
Oh, nice. All right. So how has technology like advanced and like just I guess gotten better as since you've started or like since you've first known about it?
So there's not necessarily been big advancements since I started because it's only been a year.
Yeah.
The only thing that's become very popular is 1/8 is now becoming the new standard scale. Um,
So that's on the larger side, right?
Yeah, that seems.
yeah,
kinda
that's
big
on the
for a car.
larger side. Like if you were to put it on like a school round table, it would take up, it would be about as long as a school round table.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's becoming the new standard, which has the problem of it's like, capitalism moment, more money.
Well, yeah. I mean, bigger, better.
More expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just
Um,
getting more expensive, but also like kind of cooler in a way.
Yeah, a lot of the new 1/8 scale stuff is really cool. Like personally, I'm looking at the Red Cat Marksman, which is technically a 1/8 scale, which is like a cool rock crawler Jeep. It's a lot of stuff's cool, but it's kind of you have the price points being set higher and higher and higher.
So it's like consoles, like as they improve, they get better.
Yeah, but it gets a lot more difficult to like get into the hobby. um, it gets a lot more difficult to get into the hobby because, you know, when I started, my first truck was a Red Cat Gen 9 trail crawler.
Mm-hmm. Gen
Which,
9 means generation, right? Just to be
yeah,
sure. All right.
yeah. Um, and like that at 350 was considered to be a really nice truck, but now it's
Yeah.
considered to be like a mid-tier truck.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's like the ninth generation too.
Yeah. Um, and that's where it can be one of those things of it's like if you don't know what you're doing, you can buy garbage basically.
Like you could
Okay.
you could get a lot of stuff that you A can't use and B just cost a whole lot.
Yeah. Um,
What do you think a good price for a good RC car would be? Like, what range are we talking about here?
Starting price,
well, that's that's a very nuanced question because there's multiple ways you can look at it. If you're just saying, "Hey, I'm not someone looking for something super nice. I'm just looking for new RC car. I'm just trying to get into it. I want to get a
Right.
first cheap one." I can't speak as much for crawlers. Although one I know that is really good is the Red Cat Ascent, even though I'm not personally a fan of it.
Yeah.
Um, that one's not that bad for a first starter, especially with its new Fusion upgrade. Um, for bashers, another truck I'm not the biggest fan of, but that's just partly due to the fact that it's a very beginner truck, and it's the Armagorgon is really good because it's $130. It's a 110
Mm-hmm.
scale.
All right.
190, you can get a charger and a battery. They get a lipo battery. Keep in mind for the truck, which for starting out, because batteries are big cost when it comes to getting into it.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are good for that. Are good for a beginner truck. When you're getting a little deeper, that's more with my stuff. To be fair, I did start with mid tier stuff, but it's like
Yeah.
if you're getting
You're slowly gonna get better and like more knowledgeable as time goes
yeah
on.
Right. It does seem like you know a lot about this type kind of stuff.
yeah. It's like my current rock crawler slash trail crawler. I more do trail crawling instead of rock crawling. Which is just the difference of crawling on rocks and then driving through trails and stuff like that.
Right. Like what kind of competitions are there available? 'Cause you mentioned the races and the
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah.
Wait. What kind of competitions are there?
So there's a lot. Um, Online you can find people trying to get like one me and my dad were talking about was it's just like the
The
fastest
sled
Traxxas
pull.
Hoss. Yeah,
Right.
trying to get the best specs on it. You can do spec competitions, which is more just a hey, I have more money than you.
Uh
Um,
Wow. Yeah.
oh, I
That's what
figured
it
there
boils
was
down
like
to.
car shows and whatnot.
there is
Oh.
stuff where you can go to places, show off your cars. There's races. You have street races. You have
Yeah.
rally races. You have short course. You have long course. You have people who do drag races. This one's actually legal. Um, you can do drag races. You can do like stunt competitions and stuff like that. There's stunt
I mean,
courses.
like backflips, like off ramps and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And then when you get into the crawling side, there's like hill crawls, there's mud bogs, there's sled pulls.
All right, and we're
And
back. That
we're
was
back.
audio error. Something just happened. All
Yeah,
right.
so competitions, you have stunt courses where people do like flips and stuff. Um, then you can get into the crawler side. You have like hill climbs, you have mud bogs, you have sled pulls, as I mentioned earlier.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have like crawler courses that people go through, and there's like a point ranking system and stuff like that.
Okay.
And like the goal is it's like golf, get the least amount of points possible.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um, yeah. There's also like really cool ones that I've never done before, but there's like mini races where people take like 164 scale cars, which like literally
that's really
like,
small.
you could you could like crush with the palm of your hand,
Wow.
and people like race them, and it's really cool. Because those guys are really fast for how small they are.
Yeah, I mean, I'd kind of guess because lighter, more compact, so it should be faster.
I would want to see
But
that.
and also it shouldn't compare to like I
Yeah,
don't know, like the 1/10 scale cars.
Yeah. Well, you also got to consider smaller, more compact, but you also can't fit a big motor in it.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not going to run very long.
Yeah. They don't run
has
very long
limitations.
either. They run for like 2 minutes.
Right. That makes sense.
So it's a one-time use per day or like per hour or so, as long as you got a charge.
Yeah. They take a while to charge.
All right. So let's see. I mean, just I guess that's it. I don't really have much else to say. Uh, yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your insights today. You have any final words for aspiring RC car enthusiasts?
Um, Go to Reddit. I know that's the bane of a lot of people's existence, but Reddit will give you the most useful information.
There's always that
Don't-
one guy.
don't watch YouTube videos on it. I messed up watching YouTube videos on it.
All right, and well,
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, that's all for today. Thank you, Steele, for telling us about your quirks today. And thank you, our audience, for listening to the Quirky Cavaliers. Quirky Cavaliers is a production of the mass media class at Caroline High School. Interested in being a guest? Stop by in our studio in E01. Be a part of the conversation. In the meantime, be quirky, be unique, and be proud. This is Tevin and Gabe signing off.